we are heading into a potential storm in the world of Hollywood. Everybody who is a film fan remembers a number of years ago when the dreaded writer's strike happened and the chaos that sent the entire Hollywood industry into. Well, the current collective bargaining agreements between the producers associations and the various guilds are going to expire, I believe, in July. Is that when they expire?
I believe so.
July. I think it's July of 2023, maybe June. I'm going to say July. It might be June. So there are negotiations that are already underway between the various guilds and the producers to try to avoid another big strike. One of the interesting positions that one of the guilds, the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, is finding themselves in is, well, every guild has some unique, interesting things they got to try to work out. The Writers Guild has a very interesting one. A couple of years ago, SAG was in an interesting spot about what do we do about contracts for streaming things, right? That was a big question back when they negotiated the current deal. The Writers Guild is facing an interesting one right now is what do you do with ChatGPT? What do you do about AI? Because a lot of people are talking these days about AI writing scripts and all that kind of stuff. And apparently the Writers Guild of America in their negotiating sessions with the Producers Guild has brought it up and they brought together a proposal. Now I'm going to read this a little bit at length here from a report in Variety because I think this is very interesting, like really interesting. And I think it opens up a lot of possibilities about where things could go. This is what it says. It says, the Writers Guild of America has proposed allowing artificial intelligence like ChatGPT and others to write scripts as long as it does not affect writers' credits or residuals. The Guild had previously indicated that it would propose regulating the use of AI in the writing process, which has recently surfaced as a concern for writers who fear losing out on jobs. But contrary to some expectations, the Guild is not proposing an outright ban on the use of AI technology. Instead, the proposal would allow a writer to use something like ChatGPT to help write a script without having to share writing credit or divide residuals with, say, the creators of the software. Or a studio executive could hand the writer an AI-generated script to rewrite and polish, and the writer would still then be considered the first writer or the writer of the project. Okay, so basically, what the Writers Guild of America is, number one, they're kind of conceding the point that AI is here, AI-generated stuff like ChatGPT and others is here, and people are going to use it. Okay, so instead of just saying, let's try to ban the use of it, which how do you regulate that? They're saying, all right, fine, AI is going to be used. But they want to designate AI like any other piece of software, like Final Draft. Right? For those of you who don't know, Final Draft is kind of like the de facto standard screenwriting software that writers use. Okay, so they want to say that a ChatGPT or I just got an invite to Google's new one.
Brand or something like that?
Brand or
yeah.
It was like, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever. So ChatGPT, that, and I'm sure there's going to be a million of them that are going to come out. And the Writers Guild of America wants to designate that just as another piece of software that a writer can use. And when a writer writes a script, they don't say written by Ray Ora Microsoft Word. They don't say that. It just says written by Ray Ora. And so they want to be like, okay, but let's be clear, because here's what the writers are concerned about. The writers are concerned that, say, a producer will come up with some kind of hack ChatGPT script, right? And then take it and then give it to a writer and say, just take out the gibbly goopy nonsense in the chart, develop this into a real script, but then try to rip off the writer and just say, well, I'm the one who came up with the script. I'm the one who came up with this, so we don't want to give. So the Writers Guild is sitting down with the producers now and saying, okay, AI can be used. A producer can even send an outline or a general idea, but the writer who actually does it is the one who gets the credits, is the one who gets the residuals. And they actually brought that to the table. Now, there's been no response yet from what we can tell, but this is really fascinating. See what they go, because, you know, I talked about this the other day. I sat down and I gave ChatGPT a try, right? And it's really good for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, I mean, it ain't there. It's just not there. Like talking about, but what it can do is remarkable. But I tried this thing of write a conversation between a store owner and someone who comes in the store with a dog. And it's really incredible what it does, but you can't actually have actors actually say the way it kind of sent it out, right? So long way to go. But still, it's there. And it's interesting to see that Hollywood right now is trying to figure out a way about how we incorporate, how do we acknowledge it, but then also how do we regulate it? And I personally really do like their proposal. At the end of the day, it needs to be an individual person, a real human mind that actually finishes out what a story is and presents it. And I do believe they should then be the writers of credit. Anyway, Chris, as a member of one of the unions and looking at what, now you're part of the SAG union, not the WGA.
As another union that's going, hey, some things are kind of hinky right now.
Yes. I mean, and every one of the unions has
every union's real worried right now. There's some shit that's going to go down, folks. And I think you all should get prepared for a lot of reality television.
Ooh. Oh, you and I should talk.
Yep.
I need to hear more. Okay, but let's talk about the WGA thing for a second. First of all, what do you think about this proposal that the WGA is bringing, and where do you think this is going to go?
I mean, when I first read about this, I honestly just laughed of just, in what world are we using AI for scripts? Have you ever seen one of them try to make a Hallmark script? Those things that get passed around and it's like, the woman falls in love with a Christmas tree and this happens. And then you read it and go, is this too far off from what I actually consume? Is it? Oh, GLaDOS, yes.
Kevin will save us.
Yes. We're all going to kill our companion cubes very quickly today. But, you know, using ChatGPT just to go check it out and everything, when you do put in a script for that, it's not great, right? If it's just, like you were saying, write a dialogue between these two kind of people or write this kind of scene. And it's not awesome, but it is a jumping point, I think. So I can understand why people would utilize this. I still don't love it though, right? I thank my Siri and Alexa every day because I want them to like me in the robot uprising and keep me as a pet, but I don't trust them. So I don't really want them doing this, especially since I hang out with so many writers. I go to trivia on Wednesday nights with my friends, two of which are writers who, you know, are doing really well with a script of theirs right now. And I'm really interested to see their perspective on this and see how they're feeling about it. And also just of note for everyone else too, the Writers Guild, they do have a whole bunch of other demands that are coming up for their talks before any potential strike and everything. And they're all about, I think, 99% on the same page of their list of demands and everything too. So it's definitely worth checking out. On my social, I've saved some of the WGA's videos talking about why they might potentially be striking and some of the things they're working on. Right.
And it's interesting too, because it's not just about, you brought this up, it's not just the producers. The Writers Guild is not just worried about the producers coming up with something and handing it off for a writer. They're worried that, hey, it's a tool that our writers should be able to use, but we don't want the producers to then say, oh, you use that, so we only can give you X amount of the normal residual.
Exactly.
So they're trying to protect themselves from that.
A lot of times what the WGA is meant to do is to make sure that your IP is very much protected and yours. So part of the issue here is, who owns that intellectual property ultimately, right? Does it belong to this prompt? Does it belong to the AI that's helping you create it? Where is the ownership ultimately lying? And that's one of the things that I think can get sticky here.
All right, guys, question is for you. The WGA is kind of acknowledging the Writers Guild of America that, yeah, the ChatGPT and AI stuff is here. How do we regulate the use of it? They're proposing that the humans still get total credit. I kind of like that, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Where do you think this is heading? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Fume. Be smart. Don't start. Kick the habit. Put it out before it puts you out. All phrases we've heard 100 times, yet we still continue to have bad habits. And I know all of you guys completely relate with me when I say kicking bad habits feel like it's impossible. Well, thankfully, our sponsor Fume is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. And understand, Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. pods. Instead of pods filled with potentially harmful chemicals like a vape, Fume uses cores infused with plants like peppermint and cinnamon for delicious natural flavors. And Fume's new version 2 model is snappy and tactile. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. It's Fume's goal to make switching easy and even enjoyable. They have thousands of 5-star reviews from people just like you who've successfully switched when other solutions simply don't work. So head to tryfume.com and use the code Campea to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors and the new version 2 Fume to help kickstart your positive habits. That's tryfum.com and use the code Campea to save an additional 10% off on your order today.